And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. And we are here on Focus Friday with myself and my partner in crime, Chris Edwards.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
And he looks like he's in better spirits than he was yesterday, feeling so much better from that
I've been up all day and working and doing all the things that I normally do on a Friday. So I'm feeling a lot better. Still not 100%, but I'm here and ready to go.
Wow, so much is in the news and so much is going on in the world as usual. It was well, let's just say hello to some folks. I think there are some people. There's someone in the building. There's Gwendolyn in the building. Gwendolyn is in the building. Miss G.
She beat Lisa this morning.
Huh?
She beat Lisa this morning.
Oh, well, G beats Lisa a lot. She's usually right in there. She's like she puts her greeting in early in the day.
Well, listen, I love it because she is my Friday night best friend. We are our shows are back to back.
That's right. Your shows are back to back on the Indie Suitin Media Network.
Yes.
And so it's so good to be able to support. Again, I will be tonight. I'll be in Lincoln Center again. So, and I forgot I had an extra ticket and I wanted to make sure someone got it. And I forgot to invite anyone to come with me. So if anybody, Janet, you're in the building. Would you like to join me this evening at Lincoln Center?
Look at that. Community.
Janet, would you like to, you can say no, but would you like to join me at Lincoln Center this evening at 7 o'clock?
Come on, man.
It's good chamber music. I said, wait a minute, I have an extra ticket. Why didn't I invite anybody this week? This week got so carried away. I cannot even believe it's Friday. It's Friday. It's been crazy.
Before I forget, so I don't know if you guys have noticed, like the backgrounds have been changing. Like I had a different one yesterday. This is some of my older photography that I'm putting up as my backgrounds. I'm starting to pull out a lot of the landscape stuff that I've done and cityscape stuff. So for those that don't recognize this bridge, this is the Hell's Gate Bridge over in Astoria in Queens. Beautiful. I got there one morning for a sunrise and it was overcast, but you can start to see like the colors of the sun coming in a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, see, Janet couldn't join me this evening. Well, I'm gonna find someone. Even have to get someone off the street. I'm gonna say, hey, you want to join me for chamber music this evening?
Hold on, you know what? Get someone that's just standing outside in front of Lincoln Center that wants to get tickets, but it's probably sold out.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, come on, I got a ticket for you. Yeah, but I was like, wait a minute, Janet's right there. So Janet's my first go-to if I ever invite someone. So, but yes, it's focus. First, let's try it again. First of all, it's Focus Friday. And this is where we focus on Instagram accounts that inspire and bless and encourage us. So we're going to be doing that today. And we're going to be sharing some accounts that really are really wonderful to us, that mean something to us as a community, not just Ron, not just Chris. This is all about community. So if this is your first time here with us on our Touch Base Daily, this shows during the week are dictated by the community here. This is all about community. It's not about individuals. I may just be the person that obviously kind of like leads this little get together. It's truly like hanging out with friends at the water cooler at work or in the break room at work, or we just come to chill together and to start our day. For some folks, they're just starting their day. And then some folks, they're just in the middle of their mornings and they want to connect and just hang out. So if you're new to this community or this is your first time stumbling upon us, that's how we roll. We're here every day, and every day we provide something different as a community. Hey, it's the husband. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm headed back to work.
All right.
So just wanted to share that. And then I just got a phone call today. It's so funny because someone just from the young lady from the Martha's Vineyards African American Film Festival. Said, Ron, are you coming back next year? I got the call today.
Meaning this year?
Yes, for this year. So I will be back.
You left the double impression.
I got the invitation, and I just got off the phone literally 5-10 minutes ago.
That's awesome. Congratulations, sir.
2 years in a row, I will be doing, this will be my second year in a row, photographing the Martha's Vineyards African American Film Festival. So I'm so excited about it. I met so many cool people. And last year, was only the directors because everyone was on strike. So we couldn't meet all the actors. This year, I'll get to meet all the actors and the directors and the houses, the media houses like HBO again, ESPN again, Netflix again, Lionsgate. Who else did I meet out there? Disney. I met HBO. That's it, HBO.
Yeah.
And so it was a great time meeting those folks last year. But I'll be back. So they're getting the arrangements together for me, and they'll be providing my transportation and my living situation. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll do our broadcast. We're going to do our broadcast surely from there, like I did last year. But obviously there'll be some things will be recorded for that, and then we'll also do some lives here and there. Obviously, my first priority will be the film festival, but it's going to be really cool to be able to share you guys with the film festival, and also the gentleman that invited me before, who's in charge of photography, and he said he was going through all the photos, and because one of the gentlemen won the Oscar for I forgot the movie. Because my brain just froze. I'm so excited. Whenever I'm excited, my brain freezes. But they were looking at the photos, and they were so excited about the photos that I took, because those photos helped represent the film that got the Oscar. So that was so beautiful to hear that this morning, and I was like, okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean,
9.
You don't really, and I say that again, I'm always going to say these things, not because of me, but because of you. And the reason why is that you never know who you're touching. And you don't know the little things that you think are small in your world of whatever you do out there in the world, whether you're a photographer or a drone person or actor or whatever it is, you may think your part in the world is small, but you don't realize how many people it touches. And again, your wake and your ripples can affect so many people. And so I was very happy that I got the call. I'm going to Martha's Vineyard this year.
That's awesome.
And I'm gonna really hang out with some folks because I'm not the new kid on the block now. Last year I was the new kid on the block. This year, all the main players, the founder of the Martha's Vineyard, MV Martha's Vineyard, African American Film Festival, they all know me now, so they know me by name, and so I won't be a stranger, and it's going to be so exciting.
When is it normally?
I do believe it's August. It's the first week of August. I think it is. I gotta get the exact dates, but they are. He says, "Are you willing to come up again this year?" I was like, "Absolutely, it is on the calendar, whatever that day may be." So anyway, I see some folks have entered into the room. Let's also give some greetings. Good morning to Alieze. She's in the building. Alieze, are you able to share with us today what you shared with us the other night? That would be good. I did send you a link, so check.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to her.
I sent that to you in case you wanted to come on today and share, because I carved out some time for you, and that means we're gonna get you on right away. Kimmy Kim, Have you ever been to? Oh, let me see here. Have you ever been to the American Black Film Festival in Miami? I've gone a few years in the past. Always fun. I've never been there. I didn't even know it existed. Thank you, Kimmy Kim. Maybe if someone's listening and they want me to photograph the American Black Film Festival, let me know. Let Chris and I know, because Chris and I can work on projects together. For those that don't know, Chris is an amazing photographer and does all kinds of stuff, marketing, everything else. So if you guys want, if there's someone out there that wants us to do some projects together, we are open to do that too.
If you're looking to boost your social media or you need help with a project for social media, definitely hit me up. That's what my business is about.
Yes, right. So we are a team. We're not just teams on this platform. We are truly good friends. This is my brother. He's my little brother. Love him to death. Love him to pieces. This, what you see here, is how we are all the time. This is not an act. This is not. This is not some like, oh, they're just pretending. No, this is how we talk on our every Monday. As a matter of fact, this came out of our Monday conversations, just chatting with each other and touching base and being accountable. So that's how we roll. I see in here again. Look, there's so many. Everyone's in the building now. We got Hannah's in the building. What's going on, Hannah? Hannah's in the building. Bryson is in the building. Janet's in the building. We say hello to Janet. Okay, I just want to make sure I say hello. That's how we do it. Chris, you got anything to say as I look through these names?
Not really. I mean, I do have one page that I want to feature. It's a company I work with, and I really want to give them a shout out today for their Instagram and all they're doing on social media. And they had like their first live today, but I'll wait until we get to that portion of the show.
Okay, gotcha. And Rashawn's in the building. Brian is in the building. Mr. Brian Young is in the building. Rashawn says, good morning and happy Friday, Ron and Chris and RLP family. And who else is here? I'm going through here. Obviously, we got our Alieze says, congratulations. Thank you, Alieze. That's my other sister in crime. Gary's in the building. Did I say Gary's in the building? Did I say Gary's in the building? What's up, Gary?
Gary is in the building.
Gary is in the building. I am Miss Reese is in the building. Reese is in the building. How are you? So good to see you. Okay. Again, Alieze, whenever you're ready, let me know. If you want to come on, you just let me know. She said yes, she is. So you just click on the link and you'll come into the studio. So do that. And while you are doing that, Chris, you want to tell people what's going on this evening on your show?
Yeah. So tonight, of course, we've got Safe Space. That is the show that is dedicated to people of color in the LGBTQIA plus community. Tonight's guest is going to be Rohan Spencer. He's also known as Chef Zeus. So in this particular episode, he tells a story of how he was basically tormented in Jamaica and eventually did leave. But throughout all those struggles throughout his life, he was able to move to the States. He met his current husband and is just living an authentic and an amazing life right now. So tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Safe Space.
Yes, and Gwendolyn's show is right before his show.
Yes, she's my lead-in. She's at 7:30, and we have such a great time. So listen, if you haven't watched this before, definitely watch tonight. We are on we're on Roku, but we tend to hang out on YouTube because it broadcasts on YouTube as well. And we sit there in the chat and we just have a great old time. So from 7:30 until about 9 o'clock, we're in YouTube just going back and forth. Dr. Tati's there. A few other people always join in. We're commenting. We're reacting to our own shows and people's responses. So we have a great time. So join us tonight, starting at 7:30 for Gwendolyn's show, and then 8 o'clock for mine.
And I think I'm scheduled for this broadcast repeats at 6 o'clock one this Friday.
Yeah, I believe so. Right.
I think I'm on the 6 o'clock lineup. So it's 6 o'clock then you go to someone in between, then you go to Gwendolyn, and then you go to Chris. Look, the trio. You got the trio right here.
We're running Friday nights.
Yes, right. We got the Friday night show. And the great thing is that, these shows are really good. And again, last week, Chris was on, and I was on some assignment. I was doing something, but I was trying to get in there. I was peeking in, and as I got on the train, did I go on the train? No, I got on the bike. Got to my other station, got to the other place. I started peeking in again. Then I ran home. I got the last end of it. It's so good, and it's really good to support your friends and the people you love.
The other thing to remember is if you can't watch it live, it's okay. The moment it's over, it's available to be rewatched. So you can always watch it right afterwards, and then it's available there now until they remove the YouTube channel. So it's always going to be there, and it's good to sit down and watch. I love watching it on the big TV. It reads so much different than on a device, or for me, how I've edited. And then I see it differently. And even though I'm part of it, I've edited it, and it still is. It's like I'm watching it for the first time.
And we do participate. The audience is participating in all of our platforms on social. On Indie Soup Media. So make sure you dot that. I'm so proud of Dr. Tachi and what she's doing over there, and that she's included all of us. When the tide rise for one boat, we all rise together. Yeah. And so it's just really good to see that we're all climbing and working together to support one another's platforms. Alieze, I did send the link again for you. It's to your AOL account. And but yeah, it's really just beautiful to see that, and there'll be other shows on, and we'll look at it together and comment, and so it's really good. Jenny says, I was talking about you yesterday, including she said, I was talking about you yesterday, including your RLP at night. Yellow first red. You know what? It's interesting. My son gave it that title, RLP at night, because on Thursday nights is when I go to galleries, and I'm usually out and about in the city. I am a true New Yorker. Yesterday was a busy day. Thank you to the people of the Tavern community who we lifted up on one of our Focus Fridays here. And now we have I am their photographer, and so I got a chance to photograph another event yesterday. And then right after that, I ended up doing my Manhattan Chamber ambassador evening duties. I meant to go live, but I was so exhausted mentally that I was just trying to spend my energies on all of the new members. And then we had new members that were there, and we were partnering with Berkeley College last night. So a shout out to Berkeley College. Some of the people at Berkeley College supports this platform. And so thank you. I was like, y'all see me we watch you on your Touch Base Daily. I was like, get out. So thank you, Linda, and everybody over there that helped, that supports here on the Touch Base Daily, and because every viewer counts, because I want to hear what and it's just important to know that people are watching and that we are making an impact in some small way on your lives. So anyway, Alieze is in the building, so we're gonna bring our beautiful woman, the woman of the year. Here's Alieze. What's going on?
Hey.
Good morning. I know I'm the woman of the year.
The woman of the year that keeps inspiring us. You do inspire us. And thank you for being who you are, Alieze. I mean, you've been here to host as well when Chris was away. But you also have just in your way, in your platform, you use your platform to help people and to educate people. And so to share, I mean, you did some sharing the other night. I think it was Wednesday night, and some really good points. And you were able to give some highlights. And I think it would be good to just take this first 20 minutes of this time to give you that moment to just kind of like share what you were talking about, because I think it needs to be repeated.
Right. So what I was sharing was the Comstock laws. which are out there. They came about in 1873. And a part of what I said was, I think that the Arizona ruling, which is from 1864, is kind of like setting things up, right? And one of the things that they've asked, well, I put it this way, allegedly, one of the things that Trump's people for the Heritage Foundation and all those people who wrote Project 2025 have started asking, stop talking about the national ban, because what they want to do is to get this these Comstock laws reactivated. And what it does is Comstock was a U.S. postal inspector in New York back then. So he had this issue around pornography and materials being sent through the mail. And one of the things was focused on birth control. Anything that helped with abortions, and birth control were the things that he actually were part of the things that he went after. So it was like, you can't sending ads, all those things through the mail. He wanted it to be illegal. So
wow, I did not know this.
Oh yeah, and so it's still out there, and it's in some states. So that's why it's laws instead of just law. So it's in some states, and and I think we just need to know what they're coming up with now, and the things that's already written in the Federalist, in the Project 2025. And I even told people, like, look, you don't want to read the whole thing. Go to 486 and start reading about what they want to do. And they call it like it's like the parent laws, like protecting parents and young people, is what his whole premise for what he was doing was. And so that's one of the things that they're hoping to get through. And what I think is so critical is that we get so focused on one issue. So we just, it's abortion. No, it's about rights, period. And it's about health, period. So
absolutely
people not having access to birth control. And so we're not even talking, they haven't talked about, will men have access to Viagra? I'm sure they're not trying to outlaw that, right?
No.
So, because that's helping their cause. And so, and there's all this information that's coming out about the Comstock laws actually really popped up this week after the Arizona ruling, because that's really one of the things that this group that's behind Project 2025 is pushing. Because it specifically talks about birth control in the document itself.
Wow. But what was interesting is that, first of all, when you heard the information that came out, you're like, hold on. They are restricting women's health based on a ruling that was created before Arizona was even a state. It wasn't even a state. It wasn't even part of the United States of America yet. So you can see how deep these people are going. This is called a stretch.
So it wasn't a state. Women didn't even have the right to vote in 1864.
No, women didn't have the right to vote.
Yeah, so women didn't have anything to do with it. And what's interesting is the Washington Post this came out today. There's a opinion piece in the Washington Post that actually, with this woman, her name is Ruth Marcus, went back and researched the man who was responsible for the 1864 law, right? So this is a man who basically went across like the Southwest impregnating young girls. He had a wife. He moved, left her. He went out there, and the first one he got was a 12-year-old.
Wow.
They ranged in age from 12 to 15. And he's the one responsible for this particular policy. And I told my husband, you have to think about why specifically was he after what they could ingest or procedures that would cause them to be able to abort a child, right? So did perhaps some of these young girls he was out there impregnating try to get rid of some of those children,
and he wanted to stop them,
right? And so they were there. You can read about it. As I always tell you all, you don't have to believe anything I say. You can read it for yourself so that you have the actual documentation. This woman took the time to research who this gentleman was. And the youngest one that he had was 12 years old. And there's states that are trying
he was a predator.
Right, he was a predator. They were 12 to 15 years old. And these states like Kentucky, Kentucky had was trying to pass a law so that they could marry 13-year-old girls.
Yes, I read that
just recently, a couple of years ago.
And there's a law on the books. I think they said in Arizona that I may be wrong, but I know it goes along the lines of that. If you could marry you could marry someone that is 12 years old.
Right.
It was allowable in Arizona to marry, which goes along with what you're saying.
Which goes along with what he was doing.
Yeah, what he was doing. Because on the books in Arizona, you could marry someone 12 years old. Could you imagine a man marrying a 12-year-old?
Right. And so you think about this gentleman, the second woman, the second child was a 12-year-old child. So if he's in Arizona, he probably helped write that too. I mean, if you dig in deep enough, you'll probably find him in all of these things. Let me see if I find his name.
And the writer of the article is that Diana?
Ruth. No, her name is Ruth Marcus.
Ruth Marcus. Okay.
Yes.
Got her. I'm gonna get hers. Okay. That is, I mean, it's the insanity of it all. And again, and this is all, I mean, and that's why when people say, what's the Project 2025?
Right.
These people are real. These people are real, and they are out for real control.
Right.
Like Alieze is saying, this is not about abortion. Abortion is the Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Right.
Abortion is the Trojan horse.
Right.
To eliminate rights. Because once that fell, now they can go after everything else.
Yes. And so you think about, these are laws that they're digging up from the 1800s.
From the 1800s.
You know what else was happening in the 1800s, right?
You know what else was happening? Exactly. We were slaves in the 1800s. Hello.
1864.
Well, hello. That's what they want us to go back to be, slaves.
Well, there are some people that feel that way.
Yeah.
There was one gentleman. They did it. If you go to Joy Reid's, she did something I think yesterday. I love Joy Reid because she's been really hitting Project 2025, and she's also been talking about all this stuff that's been going on. I guess MSNBC has given her the license to do it because other anchors have tried to, but they have gotten resistance. But Joy Reid has been able to take these issues because then she knows how to color it as Black. This is something against Black folks, but she knows how to talk it where it's about all folks.
Right.
Because again, when they come after one, they're coming after all. This is all about one thing: minority rule, minority power, minority control. That's it.
Yeah.
And the getting rid of Roe v. Wade, everything else tumbles.
Right.
They said they're going after, they're going after interracial marriage. They're going after gay marriage. They're going after birth control. Could you imagine something as simple as birth control?
Right.
Like, some people are on birth control for medical reasons.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So at the age of 14, I was diagnosed with an ovarian cyst. So I had an Asian doctor at the time. I guess I thank him because he was progressive, because he said, you're too young for surgery. So he then prescribed birth control pills for me. It wasn't based on anything. I wasn't having sex with anyone. It was to shrink the cyst, and it was effective. So that was for a medical condition. That had nothing to do with anything else. It wasn't about keeping me from having children. I needed it because it prevented me from having to have surgery at an early age. And, at that time, who knows? I would probably could have ended up with a hysterectomy as a teenager.
Gwendolyn says also, she says she was on birth control for medical reasons.
Right.
Because I know I have family members that were on birth control for medical reasons. Right. And again, this is women's health. This has nothing to do about abortion's one piece.
Right.
In a
That's
small
just
piece
one
of the
small
puzzle.
piece. Yes.
But not even that. Abortion encompasses so much. Like sometimes abortion is necessary because it puts the life of the mother in danger. You know, maybe a pregnancy isn't viable. You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait until the mother is in critical condition where she is on her death's door before you give her that abortion, or you just let her die? Yeah. What sense does that make?
Well, you know, Chris, there are actually cases where that's been taking place.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Women are almost bleeding to death because doctors are now calling lawyers to find out if they can do a procedure, making women wait. You know that the baby's already stillborn and you make them carry it and hopefully deliver it, right? So so that those are the things that they're being forced into.
Yeah.
And it's about health.
So here's something that a lot of people are not even talking about. A lot of medical students are questioning what field to go into, if they should even get into the field that they've always wanted to go into, because now they're thinking of, oh my God, if I go into the medical field to do what I want, I could be at risk of going to jail and losing the license that I've worked so hard to get. Like, that makes no sense. You're trying to wipe out a whole demographics professionals that are here to help women.
Right. You have some right now who medical students who are applying for residency, and they say they're not going to the southern states.
Yeah,
they're already saying they're not going to states with those kind of laws because they don't want to go down there and have a patient and at that point in their life lose their career because they had to decide on to follow a law or to save a patient's life. And what people don't know is that when you talk about the abortion pill, some of those medications are actually for women who've had miscarriages. They have to use some of that same medication after they have miscarriages. I had this conversation with a neighbor of mine. She had a miscarriage, and that's the medication she was given after she miscarried. So they'll be denied access to these life-saving drugs and procedures because of draconian rules and this whole idea of all of these white men wanting to run everybody's life, having power control over everything. These are the same ones that they're the same ones that want to take you to the time when women couldn't vote, because now they're being more vocal about that. They don't think women should vote. They don't think women should hold offices. You have a lot more videos coming out with them actually saying that.
Yeah, that was, I couldn't believe, I shouldn't say I couldn't believe I was hearing what I was seeing. I mean, I knew what I was seeing was real, but they literally, the gentleman from the Heritage Foundation said, we don't want women to vote. We want them to go back to where they were because the country was more quiet.
Right. And now they're scrambling, because of this whole, because of the backlash from this ruling by these judges in Arizona around this 1864 law. The Republicans are out like, oh my goodness, we have to do something different. We have to figure out how to calm this down.
We got to learn how to, we got to learn how to say it without, we have to learn how to say it so people don't know what we're about to do.
Which is the shit.
Here's the problem in that, all right? Mm-hmm. When Trump came into office, he made it okay for everyone to say the quiet parts out loud. Now that they've done that, you can't put that cat back in the bag. So now everyone is saying all the quiet things out loud, and then they're realizing, oh my God, people don't really want to hear this. So we have to kind of step back, but it's too late. You've already let it out. You can't unhear it. You can't unsee it.
Right. Yeah. And I went on, my intention Wednesday, of course, was not to go on and talk about anything Wednesday night. I hadn't planned anything but when I saw that, I was like, okay, so now it clicks. It helps you understand why he is no longer, he's like, oh, I'm not going to do the national ban. That's why he shifted, because they told him, like, we're going to focus on getting this Comstock law and these Comstock laws reactivated from 1873. So then we're talking about advertising. That it'll be media. And don't forget now that the current person who heads the U.S. Postal Service
is Trump's guy.
That's right. Which I said they should have got rid of him, but they can't just, the Biden administration can't get, you have to have a vote, and it has to go through the Senate. There has to be there's a couple of
they don't have the vote to take him out, basically.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
Right. And so if you already think that he's there in control of that part and he's heading it, This is something that's real and we should be focused on. I think that we spend so much time trying to focus on smaller, I won't say smaller issues, single issues, that we forget the larger picture.
Yes.
And the fact that by 2040, they're still looking at their future of being no longer being the majority by 2040. So we got to control birth. And they cannot just say, everybody else, you can do all these things, but white women, you can't. So they have to say all women. That's the only reason it's all women.
It's all. Here's Brian says something that's really, and people need to really take notice of what's being said here. Brian says this: the fall of Roe versus Wade has opened up risk to Gerswald versus Connecticut. You guys can look this up when you have some time. Skinner versus Oklahoma, Meyer versus Nebraska, and most people know this one. Loving versus Virginia, and Arbergelfeld and versus Hodges, and more. This is the takedown of all things that are geared to diversity, equity, inclusion of Americans.
Right. And it's all of it. And
that's all of it.
Right. It's everything. And so you're being attacked on every side, right? You're attacked on women's health. You've been attacked on our Black people and other people, non-white people's opportunities that were in place because of the overturning of the affirmative action. So that's starting to take place. Duke just withdrew a scholarship that was geared toward Black students coming to Duke. They took it out because they're using that as a reason to take the scholarship away because it was for that. And so they don't want to have them come after them because of that. And of course, the law school that they're threatening Howard University Medical School with on their admission policy. So all of this is stuff that we need to pay attention to. And we definitely need to pay attention to all of these things being brought up from the 1800s, all these laws that are being brought up from the 1800s to make things happen now, to impact now. And understanding that people, what Black people in particular, and women need to understand in 1864, you could not vote. You couldn't vote. Black people need to understand that back then you were not, our ancestors were still enslaved. And there's legislation on that existed back then. So we need to think about all the legislation and what are the possibilities that they're trying to bring up based on what they've already written and have out there for you to read in Project 2025 and how they're going through. They don't want you to, Chris, you're right. They want you to, they're saying the quiet things out loud about people, but they're also keeping quiet the things that they're going to do to people.
Yes.
Laws,
because guess what? Like, think about this. If this is the stuff they're talking to us about that they're going to do, imagine what's going on in the back rooms that they are planning. And this is, as like I said, there is only 2 decisions this November.
That's it. You only have 2.
It's democracy or autocracy, democracy or dictatorship, democracy or dictatorship. I should say the freedom of rights to continue with your freedoms or lose your rights. And this is why I say people have to see the forest versus just looking at the tree.
Right.
You cannot be so focused on the trees when there's a whole forest ablaze.
Right.
Listen, I truly believe if, God forbid, this country decides that they want to bring back this man, the first thing that will fall is journalism and news divisions. They're going to shut them down. Fox will be the only thing on air. And if you ever speak out against the government or anyone that's in power, you're going right to jail.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. The 3 of us right now, they'll be coming to our house to try to lock us up.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We'll be in the brig.
They'll be doing the same. I mean, what people don't understand, what they plan is to do the same exact thing that they're doing in Israel to Israeli citizens and censor and monitoring their social media.
In Russia.
Going to their houses and arresting them. These are their citizens who oppose what they're doing. The same thing the Chinese would do. Chinese just cuts off access to everything.
Yeah.
So all of these countries, same thing that Putin is doing. These are all of the same systems that they want to have in place.
And always remember Hungary. Hungary is Trump's blueprint.
Yeah,
He loves
the It's all written in the documents. So one of the things that this guy, what he boasted about, was that this is Comstock. He had 15 tons of books destroyed. Also, he had over 284 pounds of plates for books destroyed. So you think about, we are so tethered to mail that we're getting all of these books and things that we want to have delivered. All they have to say is that, oh, that's a book that's promoting this. So no, you can't get the book cast through the mail anymore.
That's right.
They'll be out of the library because they're going to control the post office.
And they're control the internet.
Here's something to think about. The post office has been struggling for decades. And yes, the reason why the post office still exists is because a lot of rural America doesn't have access to like UPS and FedEx and all those other things. But you know what though? If it comes to it, maybe we need to get rid of the federal post office because
they want to. They've been saying they've been trying to do that for the last 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, the service you get from the post office is crap anyway. And they're constantly raising the price. They're actually talking about raising the prices again this summer to I think like 76 cents. Yeah. So I mean, you know,
get your forever stamps now.
Listen, expand capitalism, allow other companies to invest in infrastructure to provide services to receive parcels. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Well, you know, one of the driving forces also behind them and controlling the postal service is mail-in ballots.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are places, I know some of my friends in California, so they send ours out and we mail in. Look, I tell anyone now, go vote in person. And you know they're trying to get rid of early voting. Go vote in person. If you have early voting, do it early in person. But that's a part of what they want to do with the postal service is get rid of mail-in ballots. And you know, we have a lot of service people who have to mail their ballots in. We have people who are in all types of places who have to mail their ballots in. So you eliminate those mail-in their ability to do that.
Yeah.
Then there's a problem.
I remember there's one of my friends said, I think it's in Texas, that the year before, in 2016, they had mailboxes that they can put in their ballots in certain rural areas.
Right.
And then in 2020, under Trump, they removed all of those boxes. So people that used to have places to mail their vote, they couldn't do it. They had to go into the city. They had to travel long distance. And people that lived in these rural places, like on reservations, like there was one box dedicated to a reservation, and they got rid of it. So the people on the reservation didn't have cars, so they couldn't get to vote. I mean, these people are real. These people are real. Right. They are not playing, and people keep thinking I get it about all the stuff that's going on in the world. I get it on inflation. I get it when it comes to the Gaza Strip. Lord knows I can't stand what's going on in the Gaza Strip. There's a whole lot going on in the world, and it's also a lot in the news with Trump. They're going to have all this stuff with Trump with this case coming in next week, right? But again, we could never have our eyes on these cases alone. There are distractions also, because while the country is thinking about Trump with the, and all the other stuff that he's doing, and Trump doing this and appealing that, and guess what? They're working behind the scenes. Just now, they just passed. Well, then they're trying to pass the Stephen Miller. The Stephen Miller crafted this bill to fight against the black farmers in the southern states, to say, oh, the aid that they're getting is called white discrimination.
Yes.
So now they create a whole nother, this new legislator that we need to dump affirmative action for black folks, because who's being discriminated are white people. And so,
and that's the big, joke in itself, correct? Right? Because the black farmers actually don't get the same access to what white farmers get. So
Exactly.
White farmers get money all the time. They get tons and tons of money, and we don't talk about that.
Yes.
So you have a handful of black farmers who fighting to survive.
Yes.
Because they've been left out. They didn't get out even during the pandemic. They didn't get that much money during the pandemic. White farmers still get it. White farmers are being paid every day not to destroy crops. They get money all the time. And I think that because they don't play out loud enough, the part that lets you know what they get.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. And so they're attacking anything that has a color on it, anything that says black. Just be honest. Yeah. They're coming after anything that says black.
Anything and any black, they're going after. Think about that. That he got rid of tons of books. Aren't they still using that same the same playbook?
Yeah, they're still using it.
They're using the same playbook that they used in the 1800s.
Right. Because one of the first things they're coming back is the education department. They're coming after education. Because you don't want people to be educated. You want to destroy that access to that education, that whole education where everyone learned the whole truth about American history. So they're coming after education. They already starting to creep in with the books. They're doing everything. And we've said it here on this platform before. They're not waiting until he's elected. They're already on Capitol Hill. That house is already introducing that 2025
right now.
Trump is just a figurehead. He is not the one running the show. He's got people behind him. All he is just the face of it. That's it.
Yeah,
because he has no policies. He has no policies. He has no commitment to anything. He has no structure like I want to do. He has no moral standing. The Republican Party.
They have no platform. They didn't have a platform in 2020. They don't have one this year either. So how do you, as a party, say this is what we believe in? This is what we're going to be campaigning on? They have nothing. They have done nothing in Congress over the last several years. It is despicable that this is the least effective Congress in decades.
Well, yeah, one if not the worst. Aparo says EEOC will be pointless. Watch them overturn all of it. Dare I say again, Daughters of the Revolution with the school books. Also, now when people say the Daughters of the Revolution, are they also talking about the Daughters of the Confederacy?
The Daughters of the Confederacy. So they were the ones responsible for how history is told.
Exactly, because the Daughters of the Confederacy were controlled. They controlled the books that we all read growing up in school.
Right, and that the states, former educator, any educator knows that the states with the most impact on what's in textbooks are Florida and Texas.
Yes.
They have a great impact on what you see in textbooks.
That's right.
So they've always controlled that narrative, and now you have Mothers of Liberty. They just have a new name. They just rebranded themselves.
Yeah.
It's still the same basic people who are doing the same thing and trying to impact what children have access to, what knowledge they have access to. And it's not just going to be about school libraries, all libraries.
Yes.
And now you talk about what you can receive through the mail. So if I want to receive that through the mail, they're going to start censoring what you can receive through the mail. They're just going to start, as you said, destroying tons and tons of books. And so I just want people to wake up to the fact and realization. I don't care who you out here you want to hear about Kennedy or what's his name, West. Those aren't options.
I still don't understand why West is even thinking about running. What is wrong with West? What is wrong with him?
I think it's all still the same thing. I think they know what their running could do. It could derail Biden getting back in. I think it's all intentional.
No, listen, let me tell you, let's boil it down to what it really is. It's ego. It's about me. It's not about all of us. It's just about, to be a politician, you had to have a certain ego. Oh, and that's all it is playing out. I want to go back to something you said, Alieze, about the book burning. I think that we really need to look back at history. When there was a massive amounts of books being burnt over in Germany, that was that precipitated what we know as the Holocaust.
Absolutely.
Right? And we need to really start to think about what has happened in the past, because it will happen again. They are starting to take books out of schools in Florida and in Texas, and they're doing it in other states. Taking out the books so people can't learn the history is just the first step. Next thing they're going to do is start to burn those books. And when they start burning those books, it gives them license to go now after people and saying you are less than. They're already doing it. They're calling them, animals and vermin. He's using the language that has been used before.
Right.
Blood and soil. People wake up. They're saying the quiet things out loud. They're telling you what they want to do.
Right.
And what they're going to do if they get power.
And that's the thing that I don't get. I saw someone on Instagram, Black people who vote for Biden, and they were Black. And I was like, first of all, you got to understand what your place is. They don't care about you. They don't. But they don't mind you voting for them because they know what they're headed for, the destruction they want to do. And, I just saw something, I can't remember what state, where they want to outlaw any reference to Reconstruction.
Yes.
That was in the paper this week. I can't remember what state it was, but any reference to Reconstruction, they want to get rid of that. And why would they want to get rid of that? Because of the accomplishments that the Black people had during that time, their towns, the politicians who were responsible for free public school for everybody were Black. They don't want people to know that. They want to take all that out. And so we have got to pay attention to, as Chris said, that history. That's why, I was telling everyone to watch Origin. You don't have to read Cats, but pay attention to, they burned those books because they didn't want people to read the truth. And they want to ban books and eventually burn books because they don't want you to know the truth. So it's all about knowing the truth, understanding the history. And when you hear something, as soon as you hear it, you need to share that because that's what we're combating. People need to know as much as they need to, that they can, and stop thinking this guy, you can sit up there and laugh all you want to and think this is entertaining. This is not entertaining. This is real life happening. That's right. They're really going to do what they say.
Yes.
And he's going to he's going to follow what's in that 2025 document because that's what he's been mandated to do.
That's right. Hello. The three Supreme Court justices that he appointed,
yes,
they were selected by the Heritage Foundation.
Yep.
That was their list.
Yeah,
they're not playing. So this is something that's been going on for years, but now they realize it's
right.
This is their moment, because if they don't get to do it this moment, they won't have another personality like Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
They won't see. The whole thing is that Trump has this cult following. They will never have a leader under what they want to do with this kind of cult following.
Yeah.
And they know it. This is their last chance. They don't love Trump. None of them love Trump.
They don't care for him. They know he's an idiot.
They just want to get back to eliminating anything that was accomplished after Reconstruction, anything that was going to give you freedom and equality among blacks and whites, women, all that stuff needs to go. Now, I know that we also wanted to do Focus Friday today, but this was a good focus. So we did not get to do the accounts that we wanted to do, like our IG accounts and our YouTube accounts, but that's okay with me because this is about this audience. The audience dictates what's going on. And I think everybody in this room really needed to hear this or wanted to hear this or learn something today. I think we all walk away today have learned something very important. And we need to really encourage our young people, our friends. My friend is 65 years old, and he's a TikToker, crazy person, like into TikTok, and he don't believe anything unless it's on TikTok. And I'm like, you need to get away from TikTok and pick up a paper or look at some real information that is real journalism. We need to know what's going on, and we need to keep these kind of segments going so that way we're continually empowered and educated. We got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just hope, what I hope out of all this is that the people who are straddling the fence or wherever they are, finally hear something that shocks them out of their comas or wake them up so that they understand we only have the two choices. And I want to be on the side that's going to keep my rights intact. The rights of my, and I'm not thinking about me. I've never thought just about me and my house. I have to think about the other young girls that are being born today. The ones that are our granddaughters, our nieces, our goddaughters, whoever we have. And our job is to make sure that they're protected.
That's right.
They're not going to be protected if this man gets back in. And people, when you have that cluster of Black people down in the South, you need to get out there and start voting for real.
That's right.
Because you have the power to change even that. You can change those state legislatures.
Wow.
You can change those governors. You can change all those people. And that's what we got to understand. You have the power. If you didn't have the power, they wouldn't try to take your vote, and nor would they try to get you to vote for them. If the Black male vote or their lack of voting wasn't critical, he would never look at them. They know that they need to destabilize us as a group of people.
Yes.
So that because we will vote, they got to destabilize us. So you come after those people. And all you need to do is siphon off enough so that you don't have, as the woman who supports Kennedy said, if no one has 270 electoral college votes, it goes to that house,
to Congress, and they make the decision, and they are Republicans.
So
well, guys, this is it. This is it. I'm going to give you the final word, and it's based on what they said here. And it would say, if you haven't seen it yet, on Lawrence O'Donnell, and he talks about the power of the vote. We are not voting for. It's not only voting for the president, but when you vote and when you pull that lever, when you write that vote in, when you put that vote, you're voting for the Supreme Court justice, and you're voting for the future of this country, for your great-grands, your great-great-great-great-grands. Your vote will influence generations. And on that note, guys, thank you, Alieze, for popping on with us today. You always educate us. You always keep us informed. And I think this was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
And we'll do this. And we definitely will do this more. And Chris, thank you so much for joining as you always do. If you want to see this broadcast and see this Touch Base Daily in replay, you can catch it at 6 o'clock tonight on Indie Soup Media. And that's it, guys. We are out of here. We'll have announcements and all that other stuff another day, but today was wonderful. I think it was time well spent.
Absolutely.
And guys, I just want to say, have a great weekend, and we'll be back here on Monday to do it all over again. Okay, guys, and love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.